Hi, I'm Charlie Jacks. I'm Vice President of Capital Markets here at Buy Capital. In another recent video, I walked through the basics behind our Sweetwater Place student housing development project. It's our current open investment opportunity. And in that video, I talked about what the project is and how the Series A investment offering is structured. In this video, I'm focusing more on the why behind the project. More specifically, why student housing, why Florida International University, and why we believe that Sweetwater Place is an investment opportunity that's worth serious review. To understand the opportunity, we need to take a look at the demand drivers around Florida International University itself, the university's growth, the limited land available close to campus, and the basis at which we were able to acquire the land that we're developing this project on. As always, this video is for informational purposes only. Demand drivers do not guarantee project success, and any investment decision that you make should be made only after reviewing the full offering packet. And so, if you're interested in getting access to the full offering documents, just reach out to me and get connected with the team, and we'll be sure to send those over immediately. The first point that I want to make is that Sweetwater Place is not just a real estate story. It's a very intricate supply and demand story that we have been studying for over 3 years as we've been preparing to make this development project. There are four parts to that demand story. First, Florida International has a large student population and very limited on campus housing. Around 55,000 students are enrolled at the campus in any given year, and according to Florida International, they only have about 3,500 campus beds available for students. Now, that's not an entirely unique point. Most campuses don't offer housing for all their students on campus, and students are expected to live off campus, but that 3,500 number is uniquely low when compared to the total enrollment of 55,000. Second, Florida International is actively investing in campus infrastructure that supports students, research, healthcare, and long term growth for the student body. Third, land close to campus is constrained. It's difficult to secure, and new supply often requires significant capital investment, demolition, zoning, and redevelopment of the property. And fourth, basis matters. Buy Capital secured the Sweetwater Place land at a basis that we believe is attractive relative to the nearby student housing land activity, and we'll show you a quick comparison from the most recent transaction. None of these items are guaranteed to create a specific outcome at the project, but together they create the reason that we believe this project deserves a closer look. This investment thesis starts with the demand gap. FIU has roughly 55,000 students enrolled, and only a portion of those students can live in on campus housing. There are approximately 3,500 on campus student beds, and that means more than 90% of students live off campus and need to find other housing options for themselves. And that's the basic demand backdrop. Then, when you combine that with high student housing occupancy in the existing local buildings, over 95% in most buildings, it helps us show that this is not just a theoretical need. There is a large student population, limited on campus capacity, and strong existing occupancy in the local student housing market. And that's really the core of why we focused on this project specifically near Florida International University. Location is obviously important, but I want to be careful not to make this thesis sound like it is only about being close to campus. There's a lot of different demand drivers here that we're considering. The Sweetwater Place site is approximately zero point 0.6 miles from Florida International University, or about a 13-minute walk. And that proximity does matter because student housing demand is heavily influenced by convenience. Students want to be near classes, campus life, and friends, and they want to have easy transportation around town and onto campus every day. But the location alone, again, is not the thesis. The reason this site is compelling to us is because the combination of proximity, demand, and limited on campus housing and the basis at which we were able to acquire the property. The next part of the thesis is FIU's broader campus growth. FIU is investing in infrastructure that supports students, faculty, research, healthcare, and long-term institutional development of the campus. A roughly $500 million building initiative with 5 projects under construction on the main campus and 6 additional projects is currently in the works. A strong university ecosystem can support demand for nearby housing. It can make the campus more attractive, improve the student experience, and increase the need for more housing options close to FIU. Again, this does not guarantee any project performance, but it is a very important demand signal. Here is what FIU is currently developing on campus. The academic medical center is highlighted at $158 million with 7 stories and approximately 163,000 square feet of additional space for students. They're also developing an innovation complex, the Graham Center expansion, a student health expansion, Casa Cuba, and a Bell Chapel. This is not just a vague statement that FIU is growing. These are actual projects supporting healthcare, research, classrooms, labs, and student life. For a student housing thesis, that really matters. If the university is strengthening the academic research, healthcare, and student life environment around campus, then the surrounding housing market can benefit from that broader institutional growth and the student body growth that will follow. Now, let's talk about the land basis. In a real estate development, basis is one of the most important due diligence points. The price you pay for the land can have a major impact on the project's risk profile and potential economics of the deal. Close to campus, land near FIU is very limited. New supply often requires assemblage, demolition, entitlement work, and substantial capital to make that all happen. Buy Capital acquired the Sweetwater Place site at a price point that's less than $9,500 per planned bed, and a nearby piece of land traded at a publicly reported $27,500 per bed. That's materially higher per bed basis than our development site. That comparison is not a guarantee of value, and it doesn't guarantee project success or investor returns. But from a diligence perspective, basis really matters. And Buy Capital believes that the basis for this land at Sweetwater Place is one of the most important parts of the investment thesis. This slide provides a broader student housing market context, both nationally and locally. Nationally, student housing assets see a 92.3% occupancy, around 24% rent growth since 2021, and a 28% decrease in new supply year over year. And top schools reporting publicly that they have 1.34 students per bed that they can provide. We're focused on the supply and demand story at FIU, but the national numbers also tell an important story. On the Miami side, we see about 95% current occupancy, an average rate per bed of around $1,500, just under 9,000 purpose-built beds off campus, and more than 65% pre-leasing rates. The point here is not that national or local market data guarantees Sweetwater Place's performance. The point is that student housing has strong market fundamentals, and Miami student housing specifically appears to be consistent with the broader story and even overperforming in certain categories. So to summarize the thesis, there are 4 main reasons why we believe Sweetwater Place is worth review. First, demand. FIU has a large student base and limited on-campus housing. Second, growth. FIU is investing in campus infrastructure, student experience, healthcare research, and long-term institutional development that all supports the continual growth of the student body. And third, basis. Buy acquired the site at less than $9,500 per planned bed, which we believe is an attractive basis relative to nearby student housing activity. And fourth, the market. Student housing data shows high occupancy nationally and locally. None of these guarantee project success, and they're not a promise of lease-up, distributions, or investor returns, but they're the points that we use to do our due diligence on this investment. And that is really how I want investors to think about this video and this project. The goal is not to tell you that any one data point makes the project work and guarantees any sort of result. The goal is to show you why Buy believes the opportunity is worth taking seriously and why we're putting our money on the line. We're investing our own capital into the project, and this is why. Next steps for interested investors. If Sweetwater Place is something you would like to review further, the next steps are pretty straightforward. First, you got to request and review all the investment materials. Second, you can schedule a call with me, and I can talk you through all the materials and the offering itself. Third, if you want to continue, you'll review the official offering documents and fill them out, including the PPM and the operating agreement, which include all the details on the investment, including the risk factors. And fourth, we must verify that all investors are accredited before any investment can be accepted. If this is of interest to you, I'd be happy to speak with you directly and answer any questions you have and help you understand the next steps in the investment process from here.